I'll get my shopping in.
I call this meeting to order. This time, will you please join me in a prayer and a pledge, please? Father, we thank you for loving us. Father, we ask that you give each of us the knowledge and the wisdom that we need to make the decisions that best help our people. Father, we know sometimes we feel kind of inadequate, but please, Father, just give us the strength to do what we need to do. Father, we ask that you give us journey mercies on our way back home, and I will ask in your name. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Glad to see everybody here tonight. I welcome my brother. We'll move on. Mr. Cleveland, you the man.
Yes, sir. Well, this is our second public hearing that's required by TRIM, and you should have in front of you some information that might help you as we progress through this process tonight. There's a sheet that looks like this. It says basically we need two motions at the end of this little session together. We need a motion to approve the millage, and we also need, in the resolution, and we need a motion to approve the actual budget and a resolution as well. So that's where we're going. This is a public hearing, and of course, the public is welcome to have input and make comments. There's a cheat sheet in front of you that's yellow, marked up like this. And this is kind of a summary of the changes of the final budget and where we started. There is about $412,000 more dollars in the final budget than there was in the original budget. If you don't mind, I'll just take a moment to talk about that. Special revenues is about $213,000 less. General fund's about the same as what we discussed. At the end of the year, it's difficult to ascertain exactly how much is going to roll forward because of all the activities in the summer. So we actually roll forward a little bit less than what we had anticipated. The debt service is going to be off about $7,600. Capital projects, we added another $170,000 from where we started. And the biggest change was in the internal service fund. When I originally set the budget up, basically I just doubled the numbers that we had done up to that point. And then we got the incurred but not reported losses at the end of the year. And so I did a little more thorough analysis on it, and that's where we ended up. So overall, change of about $412,000 in the budget. The millage, though, is the first thing that we're really supposed to talk about. That's the first issue that we're supposed to address and have a motion on. The millage required local effort this year is 5.031, and discretionary millage is 0.748, which is the same as it was last year, and the capital outlay is the same as it was last year, 1.5. We actually, if you recall, in fact, in this little packet, there's the last 3 pages are advertisements that were in the paper. And we actually advertised a rate of tax increase, even though we didn't raise taxes or raise millage, as a result of the property values going up. It caused us to have to advertise a 0.33% increase, and so that's what caused us to have to advertise a tax increase.
So that tax increase is kind of like is it a real tax increase?
Well, it is a real tax increase. It will cost taxpayers another, $10 or so, but it's really not significant.
That's a total of $10, that's $10 per so much money.
I'll look it up here, but it's a relative
Small little bit.
small amount. Yes, sir.
Thank you.
No value is increasing.
Right.
Due to property value increase, not increasing the millage.
Right.
But that also can be for new properties being added to the,
Yeah.
when we have new businesses coming in and building, those are added to that, so it's not necessarily an increase to your property value,
Right.
but an increase to the property value of the tax roll.
The .33 is actually a change of the rollback rate, so that's why it has to be advertised as an increase.
And both of those rates are rates that
They're dictated.
required,
They are
dictated.
required to put up, so you really don't have any control over it. So basically, it's pretty flat. I mean, .34, that's almost nothing, so. So the first issue we need to address is the millage. So I would entertain a motion on that subject.
I got, there's one other question here.
Okay.
I'm looking for.
All right.
The total budget is now what?
79 million.
79 million, okay, I got it. Thank you.
79,448,000. That's about $11 million more than it would be because we have a special facilities added.
Ain't all bad.
Right, that's right.
Do I hear a motion?
Make a motion to approve the final millage as follows and adopt the final millage resolution. Required local effort 5.031, basic discretionary operating 0.748, capital outlay 1.500, for a total millage of 7.279. The total millage reflects a positive change of 0.33% of the current year's total proposed rate as a percentage change of the rollback rate as found on line 22 of the school taxable value.
Is there a second?
Second.
Is there any discussion? All in favor, please signify by. I'm sorry, does anybody always have anything they want to say? He don't even live in Levy County.
Thank you.
Well, so are we all right?
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
That was a rough one. Coming from your friend.
So, all in favor of the proposed motion, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, nay. Motion passes. The millage rate has been adopted.
The chair also make a motion to approve the final budget and adopt a resolution to adopt the final budget.
Is there a second?
Second.
Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, nay. Motion passes.
And the work's done here.
The final budget has been adopted, $79 million. Okay. Thank you. Mr. Wild,
Sir.
are you prepared?
No, he's not.
So I guess that would be a no. I'm not being spared.
Give that credit away just for.
He does live in Levy County.
Nobody can do a baseball too.
He's close, he's close to Levy
Pretty
County.
close, yes, sir.
I got to give him room.
He could own property.
Sir?
Could he own property in Levy County?
No, sir. Not to my knowledge. But he does in Lockwood
I
County.
say he could.
You said could, you didn't say
That's
could.
what I said.
He could.
Mr.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
It's legal.
If I may, while we're waiting on the laptop, I'd like to read this card that I got on July the 4th. And it states, Dear Mr. Hastings, thank you so much for your support of Chris Wilder. I have gotten to spend the past few weeks with Chris, and we have learned so much about international agriculture. Chris has spoken very highly of you. I pay him to do that. And has told me about your experiences as an ag teacher. I'm sure it is such a benefit to Levy County, and that you understand the importance of ag education. Thank you for your support, and thank you, Chris Wilder, for the job that you do. We appreciate you.
Move that.
I do.
Move.
Jerry wrote the letter, wrote in, that's a picture of his Dutch.
Oh, I met Buddy from where the bus, I mean, Cook County, coming up, Road, what do you think, Road?
Jerry was one of the, he was one of the,
What?
What was his first name?
I'm sure you did.
I'm just asking a question, dude.
I know lots of people call him.
His name was Road, Frank, his name was Frank Road, that's what it was, thank you
I
very
don't
much.
own, I don't own property in Polk County either.
Frank Road, thank you.
Hey,
Frank Road, wow.
your salvation is, all of this is recorded. That, yeah. Sometimes we forget that.
I'm sorry, what I said was not wrong. All right, thank you.
Mark, I'm getting an itty bitty picture on there.
Yes, you are.
The good thing is I can tell you.
I don't know what that is.
Itty bitty picture.
That's a technical term.
Itty bitty.
How was school living at Water?
School was very good, sir.
Glad to hear that.
Class is good.
Good.
We do a little forestry practice after school.
Do you realize the streets?
Yes, we are, actually.
Man, Brody, in the last 12 years?
I'm sure they have. I'm sure they have. Yes, we have. And we got a good turnout. Very fun.
Good deal.
I'm excited about it.
It's a fun contest.
It is.
She's making set one.
Get in here with you.
I practice experience too. It's just,
Bus press.
You didn't keep
Said
that.
that back. I did every time I got back.
About Korean agriculture.
My wife and I.
as you will see, you will be patient in the virtue. But,
Really? Why would you know? Who taught you that?
I've heard it somewhere. I'm not sure I've been taught.
What, is that not what I say? Patience is the first one.
You want to claim that one?
I said, the Bible, you're supposed to practice.
Yes, enough people sent back.
We're gonna have to call someone.
Yes, I am.
It's going around.
We got all this.
How much you think this is gonna be?
Nice break. Sure. Sure.
You'll see that.
He might be a bit good.
All of them.
Awesome. Get a little closer. Awesome class, amazing.
values and learn. Sure. Yeah, the stories just like what you right. If you're today. Good.
Okay. In the water towards the treasure. Now, that dog. It's on the top.
No, we're still waiting on it.
Still waiting. I'm still waiting.
Okay.
You ready, sir?
Yes, sir.
All right. Chris Wilder.
Well, thank you very much, Superintendent Hastings and board members and guests. I asked for a brief talk. I had an opportunity this summer to take a trip to South Korea, the Republic of South Korea, for International Agriculture Education Study Abroad. And so I would like to take a few minutes of your time and tell you about my amazing opportunity. So, with that, 안녕하세요. 미국사람 이에요. 선생님 감사합니다. So that little bit of South Korean right there was after 20 hours of language study. That was hello, nice to meet you. My name is Chris. My name is Chris. I'm an agriculture teacher from the United States. Thank you. And so that was just my little bit of Korean that I picked up that I got a chance to use in the classrooms in the Republic of South Korea. Looking at the picture, this is a group of 20 of us. There were 4 professors, 2 from the University of Florida, 2 from Penn State University, and then there would be 16 participants. 16 participants, 8 were teachers, service teachers in the field, anywhere from 22 years of experience all the way to 2 years of experience, and the other 8 were pre-service teachers. They were students from the Penn State University. The teachers were Florida, Pennsylvania, and Connecticut. Actually, how did I get to do this? My friends at the University of Florida contacted me last fall. I had a chance to go through a college course, learn about the culture, and then basically it was through a Fulbright scholarship that we got to take this trip. And we left on June the 12th. We got home on July the 15th. So we really were gone a full 30 days. It was an amazing opportunity. I can't use words, but just amazing people, gracious people, courteous people, wonderful culture, just an immersion of education, and that's exactly what it was. I had a great time. So I have a few pictures here for you. They do have a Future Farmers of Korea, just like there is a Future Farmers of America. I know it's not that term today, but they do call themselves the Future Farmers of Korea. It's actually housed right there in Seoul at Seoul National University. There are over 22,000 members in the whole country. They pay $3 dues. They have specialized schools. So when a student goes to an agriculture school, they join the Future Farmers of Korea. It's almost an automatic. We spoke with the national president, very articulate young man. He has plans to come to Louisville for the national convention this year, but just a great kid. I met him in a classroom just talking and found out he was a national president. They have CDEs just like FFA does here in the United States. They have a teacher organization. They have 100% membership. CDEs. Career development events, yes sir, team events, you would call judgment events like parliamentary procedure and floriculture. They have similar events. They have a lot of school-based education, so a lot of theirs are done right there at the schools. They have a national convention, just like we do here in the United States, so it's very similar. The last time the FFA visited the FFK was in the early 80s. Here we are, I'm standing behind the podium at a FFK banner. I can't really explain the emblem because they couldn't translate it well, but I can tell you those are 2 eyes, and it's something about looking into the future of the student, being a progressive look. We were there at the national headquarters. We were hosted by the national advisor and the national executive secretary. So it was a really neat place. I did get a chance. I had a chance to teach 3 different classes at Suwon and at Gwangju Agricultural High Schools. The kids are amazing, but kids are kids, and that was one of the big takeaways that I had, that the kids up front were answering all the questions, and I had some in the back that were trying to sleep. So they did wear uniforms. They do apply to go to these schools, but they don't have the same, they have a very driven educational system. They are really very adamant about their education, but it's a little different education. They start hands-on early, and by the time they're upper level, they're more text-based oriented. So this class, their hands-on activities, they were all paired up side by side, but they were unfamiliar with the, how should we say, the organized chaos that we brought. You know, to us that seems similar or seems familiar, to them that's unfamiliar. But we did teach a micro lesson. I was paired with a student from Penn State and a student from SNU, and we developed a lesson, and we presented it 3 times, twice at Suwon and once at Gwangju. So, but kids are just great. They love taking pictures, and so we use social media a lot, Facebook and Twitter, blog about our experiences, and so of course I had to practice taking a selfie. That's the teacher in the background. Cuisine and culture, yes, we did a lot of work, but we also got a chance to eat some amazing food and see some amazing culture. Of course, this is an ancient culture. They're very prideful people, and this is one of the beautiful palaces that we got a chance to walk around and take pictures of and to visit. Shopping, museums. The 20 hours of language course that I mentioned was all at SNU, Seoul National University. Great teachers, they were very patient with us. I mean, they started with the alphabet, and that's a very, very difficult thing because it's muscles in your throat that you don't use in English. They don't have letters, they don't have R's. So, I mean, you had to learn to use different muscles. With cuisine, you use different muscles with your fingers because you're using chopsticks. And so you got very, very good with that. Great food. Spicy squid was one of our favorites. We got to eat that a lot. Rice with every meal, breakfast, morning, dinner. Kimchi. Kimchi was a side dish that you got to see a lot. Fermented cabbage, lots of spice. The types of schools that we got to visit, they were very specialized. So when I say agriculture schools, this gentleman on the left is the principal of a tea high school. And so all the kids, about 285 kids that went to the school, were learning to grow, produce, market tea, because tea is a huge commodity there. And so at Specialized High School, we're their school land lab. The tea plant, by the way, is in the Camellia family, in case you didn't know that. And all those kids got employed very locally. There were like 12,000 hectares of tea, all on mountains, because of very mountainous conditions. And they would go and raise and produce and process tea. It's amazing. Horse school, only one in the country in Korea. Those 88 kids that went to this school, they were getting trained to be jockeys and stable people and trainers, but they weren't just getting jobs in South Korea. It was in New Zealand and Australia. They were more of a global market because their market in South Korea is very, very limited. So it was kind of a neat, it's kind of a miser school concept, if you're familiar with that, out of Europe, where they're very intense in one area. They had to apply $12,000 of tuition a year for these kids to go there. They lived there, worked there, and many of them got scholarships to go.
Anything to go to high school?
Yes, sir. K through 12 or K through 8 is free, and then everything after that is specialized school. Yes, sir.
So they have to take a test,
Aptitude test, yes, sir.
and that shows you what.
That gives them some opportunities in different places. They can move laterally, but yes, based on the scores, sure. Some of the other high schools that we got a chance to go to, this one had a 250-acre land lab. They had their own grain mill, they had their own cattle, and again, sometimes the translation just wasn't there. You see a cow that looks like a, I don't know, maybe a brown Swiss or a limousine, kind of a bony one. They couldn't tell us, they would just say traditional Korean cow. That's all that could ever come out. So, but they were all covered, never out in the field. It was all containerized in barns. And if you can almost see in the background, there's some dairy cattle there. This place actually had their own milking facility, and right there, they made their own yogurt, their own brand of yogurt, $1.2 million in sales at this facility. So it helped to make, like for example, this robotic milker. They bought that, and one person stands there, the cow comes through, sheep milk, and moves on. Kimchi, food production facility, again, is a big, big staple of their life, and the kids, of course, learn how to make all right there at that school. So it was great hands-on learning, and they're very prideful people. Their teachers, just like our teachers, they go through an internship, they go through semesters at universities. There's only one university that actually has agriculture education, and it's at Gwangju. That's on the southern end of the country. We got to travel from north to south, north as in Seoul, to south as in Suwon Bay, which is the southern tip. And there we learned about, they had instructions and projects. They actually went out and planted rice just so they could experience hand planting of rice. It's all mechanized now. But they had to go through that cultural process. It's a really neat opportunity for us to work with their teachers. This fellow is from Hillsborough County. He was one of our participants. This is one of the land labs. These are kids' sweet corn. It was about a week off from being ready, and they were out there, they were working in it. Just like any ag teacher, they were going out there working. They didn't do it right, they would call the student back out. The child would have to redo the work again. So we saw some really good hands-on stuff. I said Korean Pride. These are the 4 teachers from Florida holding the Korean flag. We are barefoot. We didn't do that a lot. I was concerned about that initially when I went, but some restaurants, some places to live, but the churches and the school. Oh, there was one school we did take our shoes off. It was an elementary school, and everybody wore like little slide sandals. It's just again their culture. In the Korean agriculture, a lot of greenhouses. I know I was in hog heaven there, but hydroponic tomatoes here on my left, and then on the right, rice, and then greenhouses. So in the winter, they're growing vegetables in the greenhouses, and rice in the summer to summer crop. So every little bit of space is utilized. Under interstates, the highways, everything is used because they're high-rise apartments where they live. So they live in the city, work in the agriculture, and go back to the city, back and forth. Some unique pieces that I saw. Watermelons growing vertically in a greenhouse, and every watermelon was supported by this sling, which made the cost of about $12 a watermelon, but pretty unique way of growing, I thought. The one on the right was one of their weird pieces of equipment. I took a picture because of the safety hazard. I saw this huge belt with nothing surrounding it, and I thought, strange, but okay. Wood shop with no safety glasses makes you appreciate where I live, or where I teach, and the students that I have. You know, they would know better to use that, know better not to have on safety glasses. But to them, it was commonplace. We saw some global products, and again, this is what I'm bringing back to our students here in Levy County, that agriculture isn't just in Levy County, it's in the whole world. And so I'm walking through what looked like a super Walmart, and I come across Florida's natural orange juice. They were giving away little sample tasters. So I took a picture of it, and yes, I tweeted it at Florida's Natural, because that's what we were supposed to do, to tell the story of where we were and what we were doing. And then I saw a picture of, a bag of the Purina feed, the Legends feed, at the Horseman's High School. So again, I took a picture so I could tell my friend, Matt Pierce, Smoking Joey, hey, look here, they're selling Purina feed in South Korea. You need to get that gig and go over there, because that's good stuff. They imported Canadian hay, alfalfa hay. So that the global market, I just want our students to know that it's not just right here, or just Florida, or just the United States, but it could be more than that. And then these are the big take-home pictures that I got, which was building that partnership in ag education. Now I have contacts literally 13 hours away on the other side of the world, where I could email, or, well, if I called them right now, it would be kind of tough on them, but I communicate with them, and they could help me. I talked to my FFA officers, and they would like, maybe we could do some sort of shoebox exchange through their FFA program and our FFA chapter, which would be a really neat interaction culturally. Kids across the world that believe in the same thing, but live in different countries, but are after the same product. Good quality food for their people of their country. I acquire, of course, new knowledge, a great hands-on teaching in another world. That's what I really wanted to do, was to stand and teach in that class and feel that experience. My kids were great, especially when you spoke a little Korean. Their English really perked up. They can read and write amazing. It's their conversation, because they don't have a chance to converse, but they have it. Their language skill in English is very good. They would always say, oh, excuse me, my English is not very good. Just like that. And I would say, yes, it's pretty good. And develop a cultural awareness through immersion. I couldn't have gotten this by reading literature and watching YouTubes. Those are all great, and we did that. But to go there and to live it, to experience it, to share what I've done, I think it's volume. It's a once-in-a-lifetime experience, and I'm so grateful to have had that chance and to have your time this afternoon to tell you just a few minutes about it. These are some of the resources if you really want to know on this little iPad that I took with me. There are almost 1,000 pictures. On Flickr, which is like a Shutterfly share space, there are almost 3,000 pictures of all the people have uploaded. When we did make YouTubes, I was a little uncomfortable about that, but after we started going, it was an easy way to get and share that information out there. So if you just typed in this hashtag of the AgEd2 Korea, any of those, you find YouTubes of us talking about our experiences and how we can use it in the classrooms and the connections that we saw from either Pennsylvania or from Florida into Korea. We blogged, of course. It's a whole lot easier for the younger kids to blog. To me, I was writing a piece of literature. I really had to dive into it. Really, no, they were done in 15 minutes. It would be 2 hours. And then the participants. There were, like I say, the 4 of us from Florida. This gentleman, he's from Hillsborough County. She's from Pasco. He's now in Orange County, and those are my 2 professors from UF right there. So that was 30 days, and I practiced it. I tried to get it to 13 minutes, but that's 30 seconds for every 2 days. It's a lot of information. I would love, if you ever want to just look at these pictures and just flip, I would love to share with you. But I know that was not for tonight, but there are plenty of things that I could talk about. So.
Well, I think you've whetted our appetite, and I appreciate you coming and sharing this with us very much. I found it very interesting. I do have a question. Did you see Dennis Rodman walking around over here?
No, we didn't. No, sir. We got the DMZ.
Yeah.
Dennis hangs out on the north side. We're on the south side.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, that was a good place for us. The DMZ is scary. It's that demilitarized zone. It's they do not allow you to take pictures of the bus. Once you enter, put your camera away, and they'll get on the bus. You have your passport. Yes, sir. We see it. Did you take a picture? No, sir. I mean, if they find out you take a picture, they can confiscate your equipment, take it. They just don't play about that.
Yeah.
But they did reach out to the North Koreans. They built a bridge halfway, and they said, "Okay, we're ready to unify. Here's our bridge. Here's our token. You guys build a bridge this way. We know you're serious." I mean, it's a real bridge. It's sitting halfway in the river. It's very odd. They don't talk about it much.
Right. I would like to say this for the record, if I may. As a high school principal, 19 years, and as a superintendent, I've made a lot of hires of people, and some of them have not worked out so well, but some of them have worked out extremely well, and I consider Chris Wilder to be a bright and shining star, and I am so grateful he came our way and is sharing his world with our kids. I appreciate you very much.
Thank you.
Now, if we could just get him to be a Levy County resident.
Mr. Margaret, that scout over there, take convention too?
Yes, sir. Yeah. So we missed our FFA convention. All of us from Florida. The convention this year was in late June, and so they had already planned this trip. So yes, sir. We missed the convention. What we did, one of the young men, he had a team at Party Pro. We had a farm biz team, and so we had taught professors. We made a quick little YouTube video, and we emailed it to Mr. Simmons, the executive secretary for FFA, and they played it at one of the sessions for FFA. And we just said, "We're missing you guys. Sorry we're not there. It's where we are. Good luck to all our teams." So it wasn't. I Skyped in one day for my daughter. She had an award, and I got up really early and I Skyped in. But we also made a video for the convention.
Well, how important is agriculture over the community? Like, in the United States, some people in agriculture, they don't think, some people don't think a whole lot about that. But
Well, we got a chance to sit with the what we call the Chancellor of Education. He was one of Dr. Barrett's former students at Ohio State University, and he said he is attempting to shift that, as he put it, a paradigm shift, and he used those terms because over there their educational resumes are so padded. They just go to school, 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 and then they're elevated on this high pedestal. But he said there's nothing different between that person and that plumber who is just as important. So what he's trying to do is to get these kids to go to these specialized schools, scholarships and things, so that they can exit. And he said career and college ready. And I thought he'd been talking to somebody from Harvard. And he said, no, I want people to be ready for employment. We need to place. And we heard it over and over. That job placement is extremely important once they leave the school. They have the skills to be successful. So yes and no. There's a change. It's a slow change because you still see the older population. They're dead, they're hurt, they're physically hurting from being in the price field, and that's looked down on. But it's coming, I think.
Thank you.
thank you, Mr. Walker.
Thank you for your time and thank you for your that.
Appreciate you coming.
Yes, sir, thank you.
Be careful going home, but,
Oh. Okay.
or you don't have to go home now, you can stay. If you are going home now, be careful.
Thank you. That's not bad.
To Laughlin County home. All right.
That's why I want to give you a little audience.
Yeah, you can keep it. All right. Thank you, Ms. Wilder. Ms. Thomas.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chairman, Mr. Superintendent, members of the board. I'm here this afternoon to ask you to approve a partial recommendation of our benefit program. If I can call your attention to the information that was sent to you earlier on the 2015 insurance renewal recommendation. Under the, and Mr. Chairman, I believe we can do this all in one motion at the end of the presentation, if that's okay. We currently have dental insurance and vision insurance with Humana. We are making a recommendation that we continue our PPO dental plan with the current benefits, no change in premiums for 2015. They did enhance the benefits by waiving the 12-month waiting period on Type 3 services for dental care. And Type 3 services is your major services. It's your crowns, your bridge work, it's the expensive services. And they have agreed to eliminate those services for any new enrollees. The other dental plan that we carry is an HMO dental plan. We are recommending that we renew that plan with the same benefits, but it has a 5% increase in premium. But our claims do justify the rate increase, and we have not had an increase on this product since 2011. We're recommending that we renew the Humana Vision Care, same benefits with no increase in premium. Also, the Aflac Cancer Plan, renewing at the same rate. The Aflac Accident Plan, renewing at the same rate. And then finally, the Flexible Spending Account Administration. We're recommending that we stay with Lockard & Williams Insurance. They have offered no change in the fee structure, which is currently $4 per participant per month. And the contract has a 5-year rate guarantee through 2019, and it will be renewed annually. There is a 30-day notice of termination by the board, and Lockard & Williams would have to give us 100 days notice for them to terminate the contract. So, Mr. Chairman, these are the recommendations that we're making for these products.
Mr. Turner, if I may ask a clarifying question. On the flexible spending account, there's no change in the fee structure right now, and that would hold through 2019, and then we renew it every year, and then that would move to 2020 the next year?
No, sir. No, sir. It's a 5-year rate guarantee. So they will not change the $4 per participant rate until 2020.
Right, okay,
And
but
then
it
it would have
wouldn't
to be
move.
renegotiated, but it doesn't move forward, no, sir.
Okay, gotcha. Thank you.
Any questions from the board?
I move we accept the recommendation.
Is there a second?
Second.
Is there any discussion? Yes, sir. Ms. Turner?
You said a partial recommendation?
Yes, we need a little more time on the health insurance, the life insurance, and the hospital indemnity plan. And we will bring that recommendation back to you on October the 7th.
This question has nothing to do with the motion on the table, but do you have any idea about the insurance premium? Or maybe you want to talk about it, I mean,
The health insurance
Yes,
premiums,
ma'am.
right now, we think we're looking at a 10% increase.
okay.
And we'll bring you more information and the justification for that on October 7th.
And that represents how much money?
We haven't gotten
I'm
that
talking
far,
about
Mr.
If
Chairman.
it was 10%, how much money would that represent? I don't know either, but obviously.
I don't have that information on the top of my head, sorry.
No problem. Any other comments or questions? All in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, nay. Motion passes. Thank you, Ms. Dawn.
Mr. Chairman, if I may, I've got a
Yes, ma'am.
couple more things that I'd like to go over with you that doesn't require action.
Yes, ma'am.
The first thing is to let you know that we have had ongoing discussions with our consultant, Don Crook, for the past year, trying to get online enrollment in Levy County. And we have come to the conclusion that the cost of it in itself to be borne by the district is prohibitive. But Don has been working very, very hard with our current providers and with other providers to see if they would participate in the cost or covering the cost of online enrollment. And we are making progress. And on October the 7th, I hope to bring you good news that we will be able to do online enrollment in Levy County starting this year. Online enrollment is going to help in so many ways. First of all, the ease and convenience for our employees to go online, to go on their laptop, to go on their computers at school, and to do their enrollment. We will not be absent the personal touch. We will make sure that we provide every employee any information they need and any face-to-face time that they need to do the enrollment. The retention and the retrieval of data for the district will be huge. And finally, the third reason, which brings us to our next discussion, which is an update on Obamacare. There are some provisions under Obamacare that is going to require a great deal of data. And this online enrollment system will be huge in providing that information. Otherwise, it's going to take personnel a lot of time to gather up the data that's required for the Obamacare requirements. I've given you a little guide to update you on the Affordable Care Act. And there's two items in particular. The second red bullet here is what I just talked about. And you can see where I've highlighted all of the information that is going to be required through the Internal Revenue Service that we're going to have to provide on all of our employees, their coverage, their dependents. All of this information will be required for the Internal Revenue Service. We're still waiting on the final forms from IRS. They have not even developed the forms yet for us to make this reporting. The first bullet is going to be one of the first things that we have to deal with, and this is going to require money from you. Every employer, whether they're self-insured or fully insured, will pay a fee. Half of that fee will be, well, not half of it, the first part of the fee will be due January of 2015, and that's going to cost the board approximately $54,000. And that has to be paid to Health and Human Services. The second half, or the second part of that fee is due in December of 2015, and that's a payment of approximately $11,000, and that has to be paid to the Treasury. This fee is to cover, we all know, we've all heard about fully insured plans, self-insured plans, employer plans, health exchange plans. All of those plans are without pre-existing exclusions under the policy. The problem is somebody has to pay for those pre-existing illnesses. When somebody joins one of our health plan or the exchange plan, and they come on with a pre-existing illness, that doesn't come without cost. And that's what this fee structure is all about. This fee is set up to pay, and actually you can read for yourself, that it's to assist health insurers with the additional cost associated with insuring high-risk individuals. And that's what they're talking about under high-risk individuals. The other updates on the Affordable Care Act is listed here. We are up to date on everything. We have done everything that we are supposed to do and required by the law, and we will continue to make sure that we do those things that are required.
Can I ask you a question?
Yes, sir.
About this $54,000. Is that, there's a bunch of people have to pay that?
Every employer has to pay that.
In the United States?
If you are fully insured, then that fee is going to be tacked on to your premium. If you are self-insured, as we are, then we pay that straight out as a fee to help.
How much money that is?
It's a lot of money.
Just so we can insure people that can't get insurance the other way. Is that basically what the reason is?
Well, what we're doing is they're collecting money to pay for those people that are coming onto health plans with pre-existing conditions. Now, this fee is supposed to last for 3 years, and it's supposed to be reducing each year, but we'll see where that goes.
So we'll have to do that for 3 years,
Yes, sir.
65,000.
No, it's not supposed to be this amount. It's supposed to reduce each year for 3 years, but I'm not certain what that reduction is going to be.
Mr. Theodore?
But the payment schedule will remain the same December and January?
You mean the
Basically, yes, ma'am,
in
you
the
said
next 2 years?
January 1st.
Correct.
We know the, whatever, 50-something thousand.
54,000 is due
54
January
And
1st.
then December, we owe 11 more.
Right.
And that's going to remain the same? This, the base?
The pay, as far as I know, yes.
There will be also some other little things, like in the first box out there, you see approximately $1,800, and I'm sure there'll be others. In fact, last board meeting today, I kind of mentioned some of this, and you asked me to find out, and she covered for me here tonight to tell you, where these have come from. And, but
It's gonna break people.
But also that amount could increase based on $63 per covered life, so if we increase
That's
numbers.
correct. That is correct, and it's not per covered employee, it is per covered life. So it's employee, retiree, and every dependent. So again, I'm hoping that I can bring you really good news. The cost of the online enrollment is about $3,000 a month. But Don has been working with Care Here, he's been working with Humana, and he's working with a life insurance company. And so far, what they are agreeing to do is a rebate of their commissions for the commissions that they are paying on our account. They are agreeing to rebate those commissions back to us, and that's how we're going to be able to pay for the online enrollment. So there will not be any out-of-pocket charges to the board if we're successful.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay.
I don't believe you at all. Okay. Ms. Pam, is there any additions or corrections to the minute?
To the minutes, no, sir.
All right. There's no additions or corrections. Anybody have any, Mr. Apple, you got any questions on the minute?
No, sir.
Mr. Cowell? Mrs. Brooks? Mr. Turner? Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, nay. Motion passes, the minutes are approved. Consent agenda. In addition to the consent agenda, Ms. Pam?
Yes, sir, I have a couple of corrections.
All right.
On page 1 of the consent agenda, A number 2, Christina Story, her effective date is September 5th. That's a change. you're looking on page 2, under student trip request, number 1, Valerie Perez. I forgot to put how many students are going on that trip, and it's 3 students. Also, on the addition to consent agenda, A, employee status changes, 5, Rita Quincy. Her job title is actually Chief of Middle High School ESCA. I've got her listed as a Title I teacher age. That'll be a change there, and that's all.
Thank you. Mr. Turner, you have any questions on the consent agenda?
I was able to get in and see the superintendent before Ms. Brookins, so I got all my answers at that time.
Good to see you. Mrs. Brookins?
I got in a week or so before Mr. Turner and got all mine answered as soon as, it came out on our laptop. Got all those answers.
Good. Mr. Cowell, are you sure important as the other two?
Didn't we just hire Shannon Hall? I mean, that was like a,
Ow, ouch. Yes, sir.
and didn't I see her on,
Yes, sir. She said that she didn't realize she was gonna take the $11,000 cut in pay going from Oklahoma to the public school system. That's what she said.
so you didn't know what you were gonna get paid before you took the job? So does,
I saw her on 70%. She said she wrote. And then next day.
so she's still the golf coach?
No.
Gotcha.
She actually did a good job while she was here.
Okay.
But that's what happened to the other half of that bridge that got burned.
Good deal. Ms. Cowell, you have any other questions?
I guess that's all, so I just,
Kind of hard to figure out sometimes.
yes, sir.
Mr. Adams?
No, all mine have been, I didn't even need to meet Mr. Hastings. All
Oh, you
mine.
did? Good deal. Do I hear a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Motion passes. The consent agenda is approved. Mr. Superintendent?
I just have a couple of things. First of all, I'd like to compliment our district staff for the hard work that they are doing, trying to keep us within the legal boundaries of what the legislature has put on us as far as our testing, our teacher evaluation, performance pay, et cetera. And this is very laborious work, and as you may have heard, I hope you have, that Ms. Stewart said that we will not be fair testing this year anymore from K2, but we would continue to 3, 10. And so that's part of the backwash that's coming, because what was it yesterday? There was 10,000 people in front of the administration building in Oklahoma protesting all the testing that's going on in Oklahoma, which is the same thing we have here and all over the United States. But people are starting to bow up about it and say, y'all have gone over the top. When you're testing 150 to 180 days a year, and when I talked to Juan Copa at DOE, who's like the third in command up there, I had a chance to express my frustration with kindergarten in particular. They have to give the FLICA test, which takes 45 minutes to an hour with each kindergarten student, assessing how they did in pre-K, whether they went pre-K or not, whether they came to our schools or not, or went to daycare centers or private schools or whatever, charter schools. And we had to spend the first 2 weeks of our teachers testing them, each child. And then immediately after that, within the first 30 days, you have to complete the fair test. And so we're five weeks into the school year before kindergarten teachers have an opportunity to even teach. That's how ludicrous this has gotten. And I told him that where it pitched me over the edge is when we quit testing to see where kids are and what kids have learned and what their weaknesses are and their strengths and how we can help kids. We're now just testing to evaluate and pay teachers. And why have we moved so far from our mission of students and testing students for their benefit? And I can tell you how far that went. It went boom, it's gone. His response was, Superintendent Hastings, let me assure you that the Department of Education values your hard work and the hard work of your district and your teachers. It went nowhere. So, but I don't think they've heard the end of it. I think that this pushback against the overkill legislation will continue to grow and get more. I wish I could say that we had a system, or we could find a system, or we could build a system where we could pay our best teachers more money than the mediocres and the hanger-oners. But I don't believe that's a possibility. I don't believe you can do that. If it was, I'd give Chris Wilder a quarter raise tonight, but I don't know how to do it. And so anyway, those are challenges that the district staff has been working untold hours to try to make sure that we are following the laws of the land and doing everything we can to be ready, because we will not be the district that lays down and quits. We will be the district that keeps moving forward and accepting challenges until something changes.
Well, the thing that excites me about that is the parents doing that, not just teachers complaining.
Absolutely.
And that's what's going to take,
That's what it's going to take,
in my opinion.
because superintendents will get the same response I got. That was a canned response, politically correct response. And it will take parents to say, I don't want my child tested every day of the school year. So anyway, that's where we are with that. The second thing, and Chris brought this up, Chris Scott brought it up, we hire a person and 2 weeks later they quit. Well, the way the law is nowadays, we can let them go anytime within the first year. And they can let us go anytime in the first year. We don't have any control of that. Generally speaking, that works to our benefit. And so generally speaking, we're good with that. Now the second year of employment, once they sign a contract and come back the second year, then we cannot terminate them without just cause until the end of that school year. And then we can non-renew them. And everybody's on annual contract, teachers I'm talking about. So then you can non-renew them. We had a teacher Thursday or Friday of last week, say that she's accepted a job in a neighboring county and wanted to turn in her resignation. I said, you can't do it. You can't do that. And she wanted to challenge whether she had signed the contract, of which we produced the contract and showed her that she had indeed signed it. And if she quits right now, we will send it to professional practices and let them investigate her for breaking the contract. And, now, I really don't have any objection to her leaving over the Christmas holidays, because there will be another group of teachers graduating, getting their certificates and ready to go to work. And so if she wants to walk at the end of this semester, I'm good with that. And if she does or does not want to walk at the end of the year, we'll let her walk anyway. But anyway, I did want you to know that as far as the contract goes, that's where we're at with that. Okay, the last thing I have is the joint School Board Association FADS meeting in December, and it starts like December 2nd. Now, December 2nd, we have a night board meeting that night, and I would hate to cancel that meeting because we always cancel the first meeting in January because we're not, you know, the office is closed and everything is closed. We don't start back until that Monday, and then we have scheduled a board meeting the next day after that. And generally speaking, we have canceled that board meeting. Generally speaking, every year I've been here, we've done that. But not that you have to, but that's, we wouldn't have an agenda ready for you to read a week in advance, so we could facilitate that. Anyway, so the one on December the 2nd, I would hate to cancel because of that. Now, you have some options. You could move to the morning of that week. And I will make a public confession at this time. I hadn't told Jeff or anybody yet, but I will not be here anyway. I won't be in the United States on that day, so.
We push it a week.
Sir,
Could we push it?
Would that be an option?
to not be in the United States?
No, sir. To push it forward a week. Would be the 9th, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Can we push it forward, we got, then we'll have one the next week.
Correct.
Put it in the calendar.
Would it not be simpler though, just that was a night meeting?
That was a night meeting.
We scheduled it as a morning meeting?
So it would be easier to
Same day.
Well, the issue is that that's the day that our board chairman goes through his training, so that starts at.
The problem I have with that is, we expect our teachers to go through professional development. I think we all be willing to do the same thing.
And
That's the way-
especially if we have that new chair coming up that might need some training.
Well, exactly right. I feel very strong about that as well, but
Does a new chair go to it, or just you, Mr. Philpott?
I don't know.
New,
I didn't
that's,
know that
that'll be new turnover.
Right, it's after the new.
It's the new person.
Mr. Philpott would be down on the last seat, won't he?
That's right, Mr. Philpott will be on last.
Well, why that be bugging you no more? I mean, during the meeting anyhow.
Better. It's a whole lot better here.
I know that. I've already discovered that.
It's nice down here. It's nice down here. I look forward to it.
If we had 4 board members here, you know, we got a quorum, so we could pull it off. And if, you know, if we did it in the morning, then all of y'all could go that evening, whatever, it takes a good shot.
That's right.
But, you know, I mean, all of you have to get the ethics training in.
On
But that's
Friday.
on Friday, right? But that's imperative that you be there for Friday morning.
So the 9th would not be a consideration.
It's considered, certainly be considered.
7 to the 9th.
But just doing that allow time for the next meeting's agenda to be prepared and have everything ready. Mr. Clemens getting all his stuff together, all that.
I mean, we'll be
We're
on
gonna meet
the
on the
agenda on
18th.
the 8th, so the meeting on the 16th. So you got a board meeting on the 9th.
It complicates things.
Seems to me, I think it creates a lot of complication. We'll have an experienced vice chairman who can run the meeting while the chairman goes and he gets training.
Right,
Also
very
have to
experienced.
have
It's gone for all the trainings, that's right.
Right. We have a very experienced vice.
If you
You know, if the precedent stays the way it typically does, we will have an experienced vice chairman in there to run that, so the December 2nd meeting.
And the chair and the super gone, we could get some stuff done.
Whoa, we could.
I tell you what, we could change some situations around here.
I
Y'all
will
might
say
change
that
that.
I'm also going to
Mr.
be
Attorney,
possibly.
please do not miss that meeting.
Got it on calendar.
Well, if Chris is going to be missing
Well, because
also,
I'm
then
at
you're going
3:30,
for-
I mean, I have a board of directors meeting on 3:30.
That's not a quorum, so it's only three.
I mean, that would either mean we have to leave early from the meeting, so.
He's going.
Majority's a quorum.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah, three's a quorum. So,
Get some stuff done.
Yeah, be the shortest meeting in the record.
if,
All kind of good things with that.
No.
To me, the bigger problem is the logistics of getting everything done for those two very close meetings.
I have a
That's-
question
that's
here.
another thing anyway.
That week prior is Thanksgiving, and if we're closed down, are we gonna have enough
Yes.
time to get?
yeah, we'll get, this office will only be closed Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. And the rest of the people will be out all week, but we'll be here Monday to get the agenda out at that time. So we'll have the agenda out properly that time. It would be very, I don't know, very awkward to hold an agenda meeting for the following week and then hold another board meeting the next day and then.
But it could be done.
It's within the realms of possibility.
But it also could be done too, if we wanted to adjust the time and make it even earlier so that we, you know, so that we could have people.
We could, do it at, hey, we could do it at 6 o'clock in the morning, I'm not.
No, we can't.
Won't have a quorum.
Definitely won't.
We have another meeting, y'all want to think about it, don't go outside and talk about it,
Can't do that.
but you can put this on your thought process and then vote on it next agenda, next board meeting. Okay.
Well, I need to ask a question, Pam. It says register for one day is $155. What's the cost
That's
for?
That's for the ethics.
Oh, just for the ethics.
So we just
The whole
go
week
ahead.
is 325.
But for three, so is it like what is it per day?
I thought it was the 155 per day.
If you do it by the day, it's 155, do it for the week, it's 350.
Gotcha.
And we need to be making,
Reservations.
yeah.
Yes, it will go,
Because
that'll
you
be
know how
much
quick
room.
that goes.
That's
I want to
true.
make a decision tonight, if I can just say that.
That's true.
Well, what's the pleasure of the board?
Depends on what. I think we should just change the time. I think December 2nd meeting should be a morning meeting, starting at,
Early.
yeah, whatever we need to do. But I think the logistics of those two really close.
If you're ready to go to Tampa, and you leave by 10 o'clock, you could be down there by noon 30.
So if we had that meeting at 8 o'clock in the morning, we go then. That December 2nd meeting, usually that first meeting in December, not historically a long meeting.
We're not gonna be in schools this year? We're gonna have to get cranked up if we are.
We'll get you a list.
Good deal. Well, so what's the deal here? Do you want to agree just to have it on the same day at a different time, earlier or later or in between or?
Mr. Chair, I move that we have a meeting on the regularly scheduled date, but begin that meeting at 8 o'clock.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, nay. Nay. Motion passes. All right, what we'll do, 8 o'clock. I've got to write that down somewhere.
And tell me why you opposed it.
But I think we need to be down there. That's just what I think. We have
And you're
to-
saying that you're saying that because you think all of us should, or you think
There's
that?
no meeting scheduled, there's no meeting scheduled for the board except for the board
Man,
meeting.
I did,
Correct, yeah.
I did forget that I wasn't gonna be cheering anymore. But,
Henry said he's gonna go vote it no.
well, I'm not gonna rescind my vote, Mr. Carter.
I mean, I'm just curious, yeah, it's already passed, I'm just curious why. And I mean, I do respect your opinion and everything, I mean, it's just that it's really, it'll be, chair
I
that,
agree with that.
needs to be there.
Mr. Carter needs to be there. I didn't get to do it last year for some reason, I don't know why.
And it is, it's a very good meeting. They do a good job.
You will be then, buddy,
We can't talk about something like
unless we decide not to nominate you,
Which is that.
which you very well have to have, so you'll be quiet. All right, now,
Really? If I keep talking,
call you out of order. Mr. Apple, do you have any comment from a board standpoint?
Yes, sir.
All right, lay it on us, bud.
First thing I want to do is thank everybody that had something to do with the dedication of the John Rutledge Field. The maintenance crew came together super to get the sign up, because it won't be an impossibility. Nothing's impossible with Ted Alexander and his crew. Got that done. Got a sign working that had been struck by lightning. Even things that Dwayne said would not work on the sign worked. It was fantastic. And I don't know what they did, but our speaker system even works better now. So whatever you did, fantastic. And everybody that came together on that, it was a fantastic presentation. I think Mrs. Rutledge and her children were thrilled to death with it. We had a good turnout, and it really is nice. Come by and visit our signs. That's the first thing. Second thing I have is I got an email from a mama who asked that I share this with y'all, because oftentimes we can't call the name, but you will remember we had a young man who had had a little incident, and whose parents were very adamant they didn't want their child going to the Levy Learning Academy. It's everybody's fault but their child, and that's not the place for their sweet angel. She sent me an email. She said, I just want to update you on my son's progress. And she capitalized the word progress. I don't know how much you get to hear, and please feel free to share with the board. He is loving. Yes, I said loving being there. In his words, there are no cliques or competition between the other students, and it is quiet. Progress he has made is that he has completed his 6th grade second semester and has completed one of his 7th grade first semester classes and is almost done with another. So he is speeding through his first semester of the 7th grade. I know we were very upset by the decision to send him to the Levy Learning Center, but we know that God has his hands on everything and are truly thankful we had this chance to turn something bad into something great. We are praying he gets to return to his regular school when he is able. Thank you all again for taking care of our child. And this is a child that we just sent there. I mean, he just went, and this is fantastic. If y'all want to see it, y'all are more than
I
welcome.
want you to keep that, and every time we have an expulsion, we have that wine and mama, you pull it out and bring it in.
That's right.
Well,
That's right.
it struck me because we can't call the name, but we all remember, and the mama was just adamant.
Adamant.
And her child was not going there, and it was just, that's where the bad kids go. And I wanted to read this in a public meeting, because the connotation is those bad kids up there. I was up there the other day, and there was a young boy who was there starting his first day. He had made a mistake, he was there. And if every child entering school could go through that process, we would have no problem. He was cared for. He was, the principal, Mr. Weber, was there to nurture that child and say, come on, we're going to get it taken care of. And it was kind of like, basically the old talk, everybody makes a mistake, we're going to get through it, it's going to be okay. And to see that, and to see this child who, a lot of times we leave here, they're scared. But when you saw him over there, and in that environment, and to get a note that the child, some people didn't want their kid going there, is flourishing, that is, and he loves it, that's fantastic. That's all he needs.
If I might relay an experience, I've been to other schools in nearby counties and all, and the greetings of yes or no sir, how you doing sir, has never happened. But I went out to the Levy Learning Academy the other day, and I spoke to 4 different students in different areas, and every one of them addressed me as sir, and respectful, polite, courteous, and that amazed me, because, you know, even us sometimes get the connotation that these are not your bright and shining stars we're sending out there, but yet every one of them that addressed me was polite and courteous and well mannered. I thought that was pretty good.
I agree.
Weber needs to take on some of the Ohio State stuff we've got in the past, but
Well,
we are.
you know, we can't have perfect people.
We do best we can with what we got to do with it.
That's
Good, good. That's all I got.
Thank you, Mr. Calvin.
Museum on Main Street with Smithsonian started kicked off this past weekend, so hopefully we'll have, so Jeff is doing a great job helping promote that, so we get as many Levy County kids and families to take advantage of that awesome event. Beast Feast date has changed to October 25th, so if we would like, we're free and we could take advantage of participating with that for the foundation. Yes. Yes.
Do you want to make that decision now, or we want to do the same thing we've done?
Yes.
Good.
So,
Not goat meat. But yes, what we've done with that.
so the 25th is good with everybody?
Yes.
We're all gonna be there?
Rest of them have.
I will do that.
What we're trying to do is to kick in so much piece and you just order it.
Well, we made it, yeah, and brought it and had it, served it.
Brooklyn's got to make money on it, so.
Yeah,
Well, y'all want to order from
We
somewhere
must
else?
flip flop, dip it up. We're
Yeah,
good.
we
We're
are.
a good dipping team.
We're a good dipper pot.
Yeah.
Good dipping.
And we eat pretty good.
Gotta have some samples. Gotta have some
And see, you order
samples.
through me, you have somebody who brings it, and sets everything up.
Two big dippers.
We'll refrain.
All right.
So that's yes.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay.
Mrs. Brookins?
Hold on. Oh, I have-
I'm sorry.
Last thing is, being on the board of directors for School Board Association coming up, it was brought up about Lee County and about opt-out and all that. And obviously, I don't know if you all are aware, but the Florida School Board Association is suing the governor and for the corporate tax scholarship. So, and the point of that, they feel that the legality and the constitutionality of that, so hopefully I'm using those legal terms right there. So just wanted to give you an update on that, and also if you'd like to have any legislative issues, so being on the legislative committee, please pass those on. They spent 2 hours discussing a strongly worded statement that they were going to send to the state. It was a gigantic waste of my time. I finally got up to show that, say that it was in the legislative packet, that there is, but it was basically a Lee County School Board member. But that being said, we do have a faction of people that are very, very upset, and parents are starting to take notice of this testing, like Mr. Hastings, and trying to put them in touch with our state legislatures to let them know and let their voices be heard. So, but I would sure like some direction from this board, so I have a unified voice on what you would like the position of our board to be in those dealings. So, just need to bring that up, so at a further time, but I just want to give you that update. That's what happened at that board of directors meeting.
Thank you, Mr. Calvin.
But didn't they, after they spent all that time writing that statement, didn't they tabled it and didn't send it?
It passed, and then they came back and they decided they were going to wordsmith it, and that's where they just kept trying to change words. They were going to compel the state, and then it was demand the state, and all these different things, that to opt out of testing, to opt out of Common Core, and all this, to finally, after all that, yes, it was tabled to December. So that's why I kind of would like some direction from this board on what you would like our voice to be heard in that matter. So, and Chris Doolin, saying he talked with the governor's office about his millage dealings with and so he's had some information on that, and put some information in front of the governor, and they're trying to see what language they can come up with to help us on that front.
Well, we need all the help we can get, and I certainly mean that from the bottom of my heart, but, I have been working with, Bob Bedford, and who's working with, Frank Fuller, who writes all the legislation for, Will Weatherford. And we've had that in the works ever since the end of the legislative season. And I have spent considerable time bringing Dennis Bashley, Charlotte Stone, Jimmy Smith, up to speed on why it is, what it is, and how it would need to change, why it wasn't fair to us. And so we have a lot of people working on that, and so Mr. Doolin can take credit for whatever he wants to take credit for. We've got a lot of people working on
Good. Thank you. Ms. Scott? Ms. Brooks?
I don't have anything major. I just had, several students that have approached me and asked why don't they have textbooks or books in their class, and mainly it's been Chiefland High School students, and I can't even tell you exactly which class or which one, but just several of them did mention, and I just said I require. Pardon?
Probably weightlifting, but
Yeah. Okay.
I'm kidding.
Like your phone,
Sir?
like your phone.
Yeah, call and see if Matt knows what they're talking about,
Yeah.
because we don't know what they're talking
No,
about.
I don't really either, and they probably did tell me, and maybe it was a science class, and,
Or individual textbook or classroom textbook?
Classroom
Any
textbook.
textbook at all?
no, they were using handouts or something.
Unless, was it 7th grade math?
I think it was science, but I may be wrong, so,
Math is the only thing I'm aware of that the state was so far behind in us trying to get, materials that taught the curriculum that they're going to be tested on, that
Right.
adheres to the standards they will be tested on. But, we certainly got them information on that. I'm going to tell you, what they're doing in math is going to be a challenge to our teachers and to our students. And they gave Ms. Dean a math test last week.
Did you flunk it?
I only attempted 2 of 4 problems. The other 2 I had to figure out what
But it's 7th grade math, but it's the same thing. I mean, there was like 1 or 2 out of 1 questions on there, and then a geometry question, and, 7th grade now. And then there's a couple of out of 2 questions, maybe trending towards trig questions, and for 7th grade. Our teachers are struggling to know how to teach this to 7th graders, and our students are going to struggle. And when they take the air test at the end of the year, I think that's when parents will stand up and holler.
Dr. Wood sent me an email as far as math, like September 5th from DOE. It was an email from DOE. They were still trying to find people to evaluate.
Yeah, they haven't even got a textbook that teaches the standards the kids are being tested on. So we found, this through the workbook, and we've been copying it and all. And so what they have, I feel like we're better off than probably 30, 40 districts in the state. But is it good? No, it's not. It's not wonderful. But we're doing what we need to do to try to help our kids as best we can.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Comment that will probably lead into a question, but not to embellish on the ludicrousness that Mr. Hastings was referring to about the testing. Our students will no longer K-2 be taking the FAIR
This year,
this year. But we did glean data from those tests.
some schools are further ahead than other schools, but yes, like your school was probably further ahead than most of our other schools.
But are we prepared, or are we preparing to close this data gap? You know, I'm looking kind of forward to the future of when we evaluate these teachers, the progress monitoring going on, or as well as Robert Philpott today versus where he will be. This is a reflection on the teacher's evaluation. Are we, you know, what will close that gap, I guess, that data gap?
Are you talking about something in the meantime while this is closed down?
Yes, no, well, they're not taking the second and third version of FAIR.
Yeah.
And those are progress monitoring, so what are we going to use?
We have to actually look at student progress, not so much teacher evaluation, but to monitor students. We started with iReady this year, and Michael Homan's been spearheading that, and they're going to have assessments, the initial assessment to place the kid within the reading and math area that they need additional help on or more work, you know, learn more about. So they've got that initial, and then it has screenings throughout that progress monitor their progress to push them up to the next level.
I was
So
not
we'll have
intending
that.
to say that the teachers who we were progress monitoring on here. But when we do the evaluation, so much of that evaluation, from my understanding, hinges on, can we move Mr. Philpott along?
We've not used,
Student growth.
on the student growth, we've not used FAIR for teacher evaluation
Oh, okay.
because it's more of a diagnostic tool.
Okay,
For K2, we've been using SAT-10.
all right, okay. So that gap really is not there.
Not from that
not
standpoint,
fair.
but from FAIR, that was the diagnostic test that we used.
All right, thank you. That's a good question.
I have a comment.
Can I relate?
Yes, sir.
In the essence of time, because I hate to get home before dark. I just want to tell you a story. This is a granddad's story. I had a grandson that's on a 504 plan, and his parents went and talked to the teachers and guidance counselors. And the first teacher came in and said, your child is a very good student. He's quiet, he's shy, he doesn't disrupt anything. He's a wonderful kid to have in class. And then a couple more teachers come in, and the next teacher said, your child is a very strong math student. And his parents looked at each other and said, boy, we've never heard that before. And then the teacher said, I have to sit him at the front of the room. He's a total disruption. He taps on his desk all the time. He makes weird noises with his mouth. And I said, well, we'll have to attend to that. I've never heard that before either. Then the next teacher says, that child is quiet, shy, he never says a word, can't get him to speak up, can't get him to answer a question. Second teacher said, are we talking about this? I said, no, you got the wrong child in the wrong class. Oh, so you got to be careful who you are talking about. End of story.
Is there any, never mind. Meet the adjourned.